Welcome back to Jimkook News, where we don't chase rumors. We examine context, industry reality, and the questions fans are often afraid to ask. Imagine waking up to a quiet morning. No schedules, no notifications demanding attention. Just habit. You open your phone like you always do, and suddenly one sentence is everywhere at once. Jimin and Jungkook have decided to get married. No dramatic teaser, no photos, no emotional letter. Just that single line spreading across timelines, headlines, and group chats. Before anyone can even celebrate, panic, or process the emotions, a much heavier question immediately follows. If they really chose marriage, would they have to leave BTS? Or could they remain active members while being married? On the surface, the question sounds simple. But the deeper you look, the more complicated and revealing it becomes. For years, many people have believed that marriage and idol life cannot coexist. But that belief was never written into law. It wasn't enforced by government policy. It wasn't universal. It was a habit, a system built on fantasy, emotional distance, and the idea that idols must remain available in the imagination of fans. That system worked once, but the industry has changed, and BTS has never fully followed that system, which is exactly why this conversation matters. Let's clear up the biggest misunderstanding first. There is no law in South Korea that forces idols to stay single. Marriage has never been illegal for idols. What usually exists instead are company expectations, image strategies, and silent pressure. Many idols delay marriage because they fear losing support, being sidelined, or becoming replaceable. For smaller groups, those fears were real. But BTS is not a small group. BTS is not surviving. They are sustaining. They are not rookies. They are not easily replaceable. They are a global brand, a cultural symbol, and the foundation of HYBE's rise. When BTS renewed their contracts, it was widely understood that they gained a level of control rarely seen in idol contracts. HYBE depends on BTS just as much as BTS depends on HYBE. That balance of power changes everything. Personal life decisions, including marriage, are not automatically treated as threats. They are treated as variables to manage, not problems to erase. So would Jimin and Jungkook be required to leave BTS if they decided to marry? From a legal standpoint, no. From a contractual standpoint, there is no public rule saying they must. HYBE has never stated that BTS members are forbidden from marrying while remaining active. In fact, the company has consistently emphasized mental health, long-term sustainability, and artist well-being. That doesn't mean the situation would be easy. It means it would be strategic. A marriage announcement involving two BTS members would not be treated as casual celebrity news. It would be carefully timed, carefully worded, and carefully framed. Not to punish, but to protect. Not to erase the group, but to secure its future. Another factor often overlooked is age and maturity. Jimin and Jungkook are no longer teenagers selling a first love fantasy. They are adult artists who have spent over a decade building trust with their audience. Many fans have grown older alongside them. For a large portion of the fandom, especially globally, maturity is no longer seen as betrayal. It's seen as growth. In the Western music industry, artists rarely lose careers because of marriage. Relationships are normal. Families are normal. Stability is often viewed as success, not scandal. BTS has increasingly been positioned within that global framework, not just as idols but as artists with longevity. HYBE knows this. The company understands that BTS's future is not built on outdated restrictions, but on adaptation. Fans today value honesty, authenticity, and respect more than illusion. Of course, it would be unrealistic to pretend there would be no backlash. Some fans would struggle. Some would feel confused. Some would feel hurt. That reaction has happened before in K-pop history, and it will happen again. But backlash does not equal collapse. BTS has faced intense storms before. Dating rumors, public scrutiny, military enlistment, solo careers, long pauses. None of these ended BTS. Each challenge forced evolution. Marriage wouldn't be an ending. That would be another turning point. One thing often ignored in this discussion is that BTS has already embraced individuality within unity. Each member has a personal identity, solo work, and personal goals. Marriage does not erase teamwork. It does not erase loyalty. It does not erase brotherhood. If anything, it can add emotional stability behind the scenes. Some fans worry marriage would break BTS's image, but the truth is that image has changed many times. BTS is no longer selling innocence. They are selling sincerity, connection, and shared humanity. Those values do not disappear with marriage. From a practical standpoint, schedules and promotions could still function normally. Artists around the world balance marriages and demanding careers every day. The real difference is how the story is told. Communication matters more than the facts themselves. K-pop history already shows that marriage does not automatically end relevance. What ends careers is not marriage, but poor handling, silence, and lack of trust. When companies hide, deny, or treat adulthood as scandal, fans react emotionally. But when change is communicated with clarity and respect, reactions evolve. BTS has consistently chosen communication over secrecy. They explain pauses. They explain growth. They explain change. That pattern matters. Because if any group has the emotional capital to navigate a moment like this, it is BTS. Another overlooked point is privacy. Marriage does not require constant discussion. It does not need to be integrated into branding. It does not require public exposure. Artists can be married and still protect boundaries. BTS has already proven they can separate what belongs to the public from what belongs only to themselves. That balance is maturity, not distance. In many ways, this hypothetical moment represents a larger shift in the industry itself. A move away from ownership and toward acknowledgement. Acknowledgement that idols are not frozen in time, that fans are capable of adapting, that longevity is built on truth, not illusion. If BTS truly represents the future of global pop, then the future cannot be one where adulthood is treated as a threat. It must be one where growth is expected. That's why this question feels so emotional. It isn't just about rules. It's about fear of change. Fans don't just support BTS's music. They're emotionally invested in the idea of BTS. And when that idea shifts, it can feel like loss. But growth has always been part of BTS's story. So the real question isn't whether Jimin and Jungkook can marry while staying in BTS. The real question is whether the world is ready to accept that idols can choose both love and career at the same time. At the end of the day, the idea that marriage would automatically force Jimin and Jungkook to leave BTS doesn't stand on solid ground. It's built on fear and old habits, not real rules. There is no law, no written ban, no confirmed company policy demanding it. What exists instead is change and readiness. BTS has always treated their fans as capable of growth, not fragile spectators who must be protected from reality. That mutual trust is why the group still stands strong today. This isn't about permission, it's about evolution. And as always, Jimkook News will be here to examine it calmly, honestly, and without distortion. Now we want to hear from you. Do you believe marriage and BTS can truly coexist? Do you think fans are ready for that step? Share your thoughts in the comments. Join the conversation. And if you want a deeper dive into BTS, Jimkook, and the stories behind the headlines, make sure you stay connected with Jimkook News.